Hey YouTube, Dread Joker here, and today we're going to be looking at something not Gundam for a change. This is the one and only frame arm kit I have. This is the frame arm's Renewal frame. It is basically a full inner frame, and I'm going to tell you right now, this is not as big as everybody cracks it out to be, but it is still pretty big. I picked this up from the USA Gundam store for $13, and honestly, I'm very happy with it. For $13, this thing has... I want to try the rest of the line now. I was skeptical of this because Kotobukiya is one of those companies that does great-looking products. Unfortunately, they're also a company that really needs to work on their R&D work in some cases. This is the dark gray version, so it includes the purple armor parts, or maybe, well, this is more of a metallic gloss purple. The light isn't doing it justice, either of them. But the head, I really love the head sculpt on this. I am getting, like, Halo meets Armored Core smashed together with Metal Gear Rex on this one, which is funny because Kotobukiya also makes the Metal Gear Rex kit. So I think they might have taken a little design note from Hideo Kojima on this one. The articulation on this inner frame is beyond ridiculous. There are only a couple spots of glue that I highly recommend, and it's just on when you're putting, like, because this was technically made in China. That's a bit of a quality thing. It's fine in some areas and not fine in others. Where it is fine, it's perfectly passable. Where it's not fine, just add like a drop or two of super glue and you're fine. That's where the thing is. But if this was ball joints, I would be concerned. Because a friend of ours bought an Armored Core kit, the Delta, which is the quadruped with all the machine guns everywhere. We went to one builder's meeting with him. He was building it. The next builder's meeting, we saw it. It was fine. It was a quadruped. The next builder's meeting after that, it was a tripod. What happened? The ball joint was so tight that he broke the leg off. So when it comes to ball joints, and all of the Zoids kits that Kotobukiya makes use these. So there are some areas they need to work on. This kit does feature two ball joints, and they are just up here in the shoulders, because does it have some freaking shoulders on it. Getting right to the shoulders, the arms go out, and then you can raise them up on this ball joint about maybe 15 degrees. Any more will cause this joint to pop out. Also, for those of you not familiar with the frame arms line, every inch of these kits is designed to be modified. Every hole you see on this that makes him look like Swiss cheese or he decided to lose a bet, every single one of these is a 3mm hole, which means that if you have any Gundam kits or add-on parts that use 3mm pegs, for example, you can take them, pick whatever holes you like, heyo, and start armoring it up. With these kits, you can go full-on Transformer, you can go on full-on Deformer. Hey, if you want to go back to the 80s, you can go Rock Lord if you want. For those of you who didn't live through the 80s or live on eBay, don't worry, Rock Lords are not something you'll ever have to worry about again. We get these put off, and these are just Mega Ride launchers equipped with spare parts from the Master Grade Camphor. These are awesome. But back to the kit itself. The arm can go all the way up. You've got a bicep rotation that can go all the way around because there's nothing stopping it. Elbow joint. Again, be careful because this thing is so modular. In here's a peg, in here's a peg, in here's a peg, in here's a peg. Basically everything has a peg. If it doesn't look like it has a peg, it has a peg. And if it does look like it has a peg, it probably has a peg. Elbow, you're looking at, I'd actually put that pretty close to 160, maybe a little higher. As far as the wrist goes, It's a polycap. So here's a polycap, then in here's a polycap. There's a polycap here, and also down here in both of the ankles. As far as what I was telling you about the glue, there's only 2 bits of plastic here that need gluing. These top section of the foot to the lower section of the foot. Why do I mention this? Because this thing has fantastic feet articulation. The problem is, you're counting on this part right here, this itty-bitty section, holding on to this also itty-bitty section. And it's one of those weird pegs that does this, where it has to have the 3 and then the 2 slide in the middle of it, and it's supposed to hold it together. It doesn't want to do that. So just glue these down, and you'll be fine. That's the only thing you'll really need to do, other than maybe add some glue to just seal the pegs on here, unless you plan on modifying these legs. If you're going to do that, don't follow my advice and glue these. If you're going to leave this as is and just start modifying the ever-loving daylights out of it, maybe invest in a little bit of glue. Now, back to the articulation as I was saying. Arms, very good. Wrist, full 360 because the hands are just a 3mm peg, go figure, that goes into this polycap, and the polycap gives you... Oh, broke his wrist. And... Nope, broke his wrist the other way. Ridiculous 90-degree, full 180 bend potential out of the wrists. Only one direction, though. If you're looking for back and forth, like this way, you're SOL. Sure, out of luck. But, and yes, his elbow has some very backwards potential, too. Just keep that in mind. As far as the shoulder can go, it can go backwards ridiculously far. Forwards, also ridiculously far. It can also, because it was designed to come apart this way, yeah. It can do that. Other parts that might require glue. This back panel, if you hang anything from it, just comes off. The problem is, this peg is too short and that hole is too shallow. It holds on securely enough, I can shake it all I want, but any additional weight is going to cause this thing to be torn out. Head on a ball joint. And I was just looking the other day and I found this out, and this is pretty interesting for those of you who like doing real type conversions. The head, and I'm just going to bring in a CS head that I've been working on for a while. Just going to pop his head off. Okay, I'm going to pop his head off, then put his neck back in. That's another part that comes... This thing comes apart in more ways than I can count. But it's for the gimmick of the whole line, so keep that in mind. The peg and everything like that and the head is the exact same size. So you can get a frame arms kit and a CS frame if you want, and just start mixing the parts. Being said, this freakishly oversized dome on this slender body looks a little out of place. Maybe bulk up the armor a lot, puff out everything, maybe then it'll look fine. Until then, holy crud, this is nightmare fuel. So let's set the head back aside, let's give him his head back. This set also features an interchangeable eye. It is the same transparent plastic as this one, but the difference is, like, this is like the Federation type, so visor, so if you're an Armored Core fan, this would be like the Mirage style head, and the other one just features the mono eye, so that would be like the Crest style head, if you remember the old games like Armored Core 3, or if you were part of the community at the time, Last Raven. But the hips, full, unrestricted, 360 rotation, go figure, nothing to stop it. But you also have an ab crunch that goes really far forward. Like, really, really. Almost 90 degrees. Then you have a backwards crunch. So getting these two together, you can have him have an ab giggity. Or, yeah. I'm just going to leave that to your imagination, and I'm leaving that mental image there along with the actual image. Legs. Got to move the arms out of here. Because, ooh, baby. That's the splits. It can do the Van Damme with absolutely no problem. Wait, hang on. Stop coming apart in ways that I don't want you to. There. Now it's doing the Van Damme. It does this very, very well. The legs, also modular. They're on this weird peg system, and as I said, this is essentially the peg for the foot. It works, but needs improvement. On the hips, it's fine. On the feet, I don't know what went wrong. I don't know, maybe Derpy was working at the factory that day. I don't know what went wrong. Nobody can explain this to me. But you also have 3mm pegs on either side of the crotch area. I assume this is to accommodate skirting armor of some point. I've tried sticking a polycap in here. I cannot find one that is accepted and goes in securely. I'm sure one exists, however. You have a 3mm hole right where, you know, right where it would obviously be on a Gundam kit. You have one back here. All over the place. You get a full thigh rotation. You get holes on the side, holes up here, holes everywhere. You get an epic knee bend out of this. So the knee can do a full 180. Armor is attached, once again, via peg. Ankles. Ooh, mama! That's the down. This thing is going full-on contortionist now. We'll get it out, and the ankles go insanely far in every direction. You also get 45 degrees. Nope, scratch that. We're getting 90 now. In almost any direction you want. These kits were made for modifying. If you're going to pick up the frame arms kits and you don't have a renewal frame, I recommend getting a renewal frame. If you're curious about the frames or just want to try one, I recommend just buying the renewal frame if you just have a bunch of add-on sets. Kotobukiya does one good thing, and that is a lot of the stuff is very affordable. If you're looking at the Armored Core stuff, I don't know where the budget went, because the average price on those is $55 to $110. For what is essentially, and this is the disgusting part, a high grade. You're looking at what is essentially a high grade Gunpla. Not a high grade the size of the Neo Zeong or the Psycho Gundam. You're looking at a high grade, maybe twice the size, if you're lucky, of the 00. One of the smaller high grades. Or, no, in one case, here's the best example, the F91. The F91, already one of the smallest kits out there. This is taller than that, and the Armored Cores are slightly taller than that, maybe out of here. For other size comparisons, don't really have a lot on me tonight. But here it is next to the G-Frame Sazabi. So it's a little bit taller than a G-Frame. Here it is next to your average Master Grade. It's about nipple high. It's the best way I can describe it. But for the size, and for what I paid, $13, I highly recommend these. These are perfect for beginners if you're a veteran builder or not, or if you're just looking for something to throw together, throw on your desk, and maybe use as a sketch dummy or something like that. I really, really recommend these. These get 2 massive thumbs up from me. And you also get a slew of hands with them. You get the expressive jazz claws. You get the holding hands, which are very awkward, because to put the weapons in, you pull the fingers off. Then you slot them into the fingers, and then slot it back together. And then, as per the norm, you get a set of fists. These are very, very fun builds. You can throw these together in about maybe 45 minutes if you follow the instructions. This is just something you can sit down and build. It's good priced. I wish more shops around here would carry these because I would love to use these for army building. If you have any questions, comments, etc., please throw them down in the comment section below. I will be more than happy to look at them and respond when I can. Thank you very much for watching.